I can't believe that we lost. I am going to be up for a lot of money from this.
Yes, the judgment will be about $300,000.
I don't want to pay that. Those guys really annoy me. Can't I just go bankrupt?
I don't see why not. That way you can avoid paying the debt. Put $10,000 into my trust account and I will contact a bankruptcy trustee.
Okay.
Welcome to Streten Mason's Lawyers. We offer comprehensive advice for small and medium-sized businesses and their owners. How can I help you today?
Well, I am about to have judgment against me for $300,000. I know I deserve to lose, but I really do not want to pay that money. My previous lawyer told me to go bankrupt. What do you think?
Well, before we get to that, let's have a look at your situation. The best way to analyze this is to introduce you to our 7 steps process to ascertain if there is another option for you or whether bankruptcy is your only option. How does this sound?
That sounds different.
So the first step is to ascertain your legal state. I need you to tell me everything about the litigation and then what assets you own, including businesses, property and so on. Let's start with your litigation.
Well, the litigation involved a franchise business that I operate. I have a real estate agency franchised business. The franchise business has been sued as I personally.
Okay, how did the debt arise?
There is a deficiency in my franchise documents. I have been to 2 different lawyers, including the ones that acted for me in this litigation, and they told me it was fine. It was clear at the trial that it was not fine, and I know I am going to lose.
So you do not have judgment against you yet?
Well, that was one matter. I have another matter that was by another franchisee on similar terms. Based on the advice from my lawyer, I decided not to defend that and have consented to judgment.
Is that part of the $300,000?
Yes.
How much of it?
$200,000. That is against both the franchise business and myself personally.
Okay, well, I cannot comment on the merits of the case. That is outside the scope of this work.
I understand, but I do not want to fight this anymore and just want to go bankrupt.
Well, that it is a lot of money, but we need to make sure that it is worth it. Has anyone ever explained the problems with our company to be wound up and becoming bankrupt personally?
Yeah, I saw one of those American television shows and I know that it means that I won't owe them any money anymore.
Do you release that you will lose your assets if you go bankrupt and that your company will no longer be able to operate?
No, but my lawyer told me that I could have some agreements done up to transfer the business to a third party and that would protect the franchise business.
There are a number of laws about the winding back of those transactions that you need to consider. Basically, you need to be very careful about taking such steps as it could mean that you lose everything. Let's talk about your assets and your structure.
Okay, well, there is the real estate business that makes good money. It turns over around $150,000 per year just in franchise royalty fees.
So do you realize that if you wind up the company you will lose the business?
No, surely we can do something to get around that.
No, anything that we could do would be wound back by the liquidator at the company and would cost you a lot of money. So what else do you own?
Well, I owned my own home, the business premises and an investment property.
What are they worth?
Well, my home is worth about $1,200,000, the business premises is worth about $1 million and the investment property is worth about $250,000.
How much do you owe on those properties to banks?
I only have a loan over the investment property and no other debts.
Okay, well, do you realize that if you go bankrupt the trustee will sell up all of the properties at a fire sale price and you might get some other debts paid? Let's add up the value of your properties. $2,450,000. You have a debt of $250,000. That means that you have equity of $2,200,000, more than enough to pay this debt. If you go bankrupt you will lose everything and still have to pay the debt.
Wow, I did not realize that. My other lawyer were litigation specialists and obviously did not think about the effect of the other areas of law on my situation.
The better course of action will be to just pay the debt, source the money from somewhere, but do not let yourself go bankrupt. It will be a disaster.
Thank you so much. You have saved me a lot of money.